Hey, it's Sahar, your AI whisperer, and welcome to the Friday My Forbes Coach Council like articles on AI Cafe Conversations. This is our extra flavors of coffee that I add every Friday. Today's episode is a little bit different. I'm not teaching, I'm sharing. The last episode was about my last week's workshop working with executives on shadow AI, and they revealed the real barriers to AI leadership that no one talks about in board meetings. So let's get into it. The last episode on Wednesday was about the lesson that I taught, but this one is about the lesson that I learned. This is behind the scenes reflection on the workshop. It's not a tutorial on shadow AI, but a case study of what executives actually struggle with when confronting shadow AI. The Wednesday episode was about how executives should not wait for regulations, lead governance now, and why do they wait for regulations? And I spoke about the psychology of it and the solutions. Today's episode is about governance without psychological safety just drives shadow AI deeper underground. And also, what did real executive struggle with when confronting this or the shadow AI? And today it's like a case study for the workshop. Hopefully you will enjoy it.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're taking you behind the scenes, really, into AI leadership. We're looking at lessons learned not from the usual strategy documents, but from, well, the real, sometimes awkward questions from 28 senior execs and directors in a recent workshop.
Yeah, it was less about what was taught and more about what they were actually wrestling with.
Exactly. So our goal here is to pull insights straight from that experience, focusing on this hidden challenge called shadow AI. This deep dive is all about understanding the real psychological hurdles, the structural things stopping companies from really getting smart about AI.
Right. And shadow AI, just to be clear for everyone, it's basically the use of tools like ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, you name it. Tools that anyone can access. Employees are using them, often trying to do good work faster, better. But it's happening under the radar. No official policies, no governance, leadership often has no clue. It's this invisible activity that, frankly, carries some pretty significant risks.
So these execs, they weren't just there to get lectured at.
Not at all. They were there, you could feel it, kind of looking for permission to lead even when they don't have all the technical answers, and we've boiled down their struggles into basically 3 key revelations.
Yeah.
These are the roadblocks that you, listening right now, probably need to think about if you want to get past just playing around with AI.
Okay, let's dig into revelation number 1. This is where things got interesting fast in the room. The facilitator asked 2 questions. First, how many of you executives are personally using AI tools in your job? And not many hands went up, maybe 20%. Sparse.
Yeah.
But then came the second question, and this was the kicker. How many of you know, or at least suspect, that your teams are using these AI tools even without any official green light? And the source material says the room just went silent. Dead quiet.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't confusion about if it was happening. It was more like paralysis. They knew it was out there, but felt totally blind to it, couldn't control it.
And that points directly to the core issue here. This gap between technical know-how and what we're calling strategic literacy. You have these leaders making huge decisions, investments, policies around AI. But many admitted quite openly they couldn't clearly tell you the difference between, say, machine learning concepts and AI governance policies, or how LLMs impact data privacy specifically.
Is that just ignorance or something else?
I really don't think it's ignorance. It's the sheer speed of it all. The language, the tech itself, it changes like every 6 months. Leaders are exhausted trying to keep up with the technical details when the ground keeps shifting.
Yeah.
How do you govern something you can barely define consistently?
Right. So what was the breakthrough for them?
It came when they started separating 2 kinds of knowledge. It was a real relief, actually. First, there's the technical expertise, how models get trained, supervised versus unsupervised learning, prompt engineering details. And the big insight was leaders generally do not need to be experts in this stuff.
Okay, so what do they need?
They need strategic literacy. That's the second type. This is crucial. It means understanding what AI can actually do for the business. Where does it create risk, data leaks, IP issues? And importantly, how does it impact your people, your customers?
That makes sense. Focus on the business, not the bytecode.
Exactly. It changed the whole feeling in the room. It shifted the job from be a tech guru to lead the business strategy around this tech. The moment they realized they could focus on risk, value, people, instead of pretending to get neural networks, you could literally see the stress drop. One executive actually said, "You just gave me permission to lead without pretending to be technical."
Okay, but I need to push back a bit here. Doesn't that sound a little like passing the buck? If a leader doesn't grasp how a model might fail, like technically, maybe due to data drift or some subtle bias, how can they truly manage the risk strategically? Isn't there some baseline technical understanding required just to ask the right questions?
That's a fair challenge, and it gets right to the heart of the discomfort. Strategic literacy isn't about being technically clueless. It's about understanding the consequences of the outputs. Think about it like this. A CEO doesn't need to know combustion engine thermodynamics to understand the risk of a car recall, right? They need to know, if this AI screws up, what's the worst case scenario for our compliance, for our reputation, for our customers, for the stock price? Their job is to make sure someone is minding the technical details and can translate those failure modes into business risks they can understand and act on. They manage the outcome, not the algorithm.
Got it. So it's about leveraging the strategic insight, understanding the so what without getting lost in the how.
Precisely.
Which, okay, that leads us nicely into the second big reason for inaction, the second revelation. If leaders see the risk, why the slow movement?
Yeah, this brings us to what we call the prudence trap. When these executives were asked, why haven't you put internal AI rules in place yet? The most common answer was basically, well, shouldn't we wait? Wait for official regulations, maybe a governing body, government policies, before we really dive in. It sounds sensible, cautious.
Responsible, even.
Right. But if you dig a little deeper psychologically, that waiting is often code for, I'm scared of being the first one to mess this up.
Yeah.
It's classic diffusion of responsibility. Think about other industries. Finance has the SEC, pharma has the FDA, manufacturing has OSHA. There are external bodies setting the rules.
Yeah, you know who to point to, what the standard is.
Exactly. But right now, there's no FDA for AI. There's no OSHA for AI. It's ambiguous. And for leaders operating under pressure, ambiguity feels dangerous. So the default becomes, let's wait. Let someone else make the first move, maybe a competitor, maybe the EU or Washington will give us a rule book.
But the danger in waiting is huge, isn't it? While leadership waits for these perfect external rules.
Their teams are already out there using shadow AI.
Yeah.
Invisibly, aggressively sometimes. And by the time those official regulations finally land, which could be years away, let's be real. The messy, inconsistent practices your teams have adopted will be deeply invisibly baked into how you operate.
Oof. Trying to clean that up later sounds like a nightmare.
Imagine trying to apply a new data privacy rule across thousands of documents created over 2 years using 4 different unapproved AI tools, stored who knows where. It's an audit and compliance disaster waiting to happen. Retrofitting governance onto that kind of established chaos, almost impossible.
And there's data backing this up, right? The cost of just waiting.
Yeah, there is. Less than 30% of AI leaders say their CEOs are happy with the return on their AI investments right now. Why? Because organizations are throwing money at experiments without a clear strategy, without governance, all while holding their breath for some perfect set of rules. They're stuck in this prudence trap.
So what are the companies doing that are moving forward effectively?
They're not waiting for perfect. They get that perfect is the enemy of good here. They're creating good enough frameworks right now, simple guardrails. And they're iterating, tweaking them weekly, monthly as they learn more. They're leading responsibly by setting expectations now, not waiting for someone else to hand them the instructions.
Okay, so stop waiting, start governing, which means you need people to actually admit what they're doing. And that brings us to revelation number 3, psychological safety. It's the way in, but maybe not the final stop.
Exactly. Psychological safety is pretty much the only antidote to shadow AI. It's the only way to get that hidden usage out into the open where you can actually guide it, manage the risks.
Sounds good, but I can hear the executive pushback now. Okay, great. So I tell my teams it's safe to talk about AI, and they hear, go nuts, use whatever AI you want. Am I just trading secret chaos for open chaos? That's a real concern.
It's a totally understandable fear. But it comes from a slight misunderstanding of what psychological safety means in this context. Safety doesn't mean zero boundaries. It doesn't mean no rules apply. It means visibility. It's the ability for an employee to raise their hand and say, hey, I tried this new tool, or I think this might have leaked some data, or even just, I'm experimenting with this. This is okay, without fearing they'll be immediately fired or punished.
Right. You can't guide what you can't see.
Precisely. Fear just pushes it further underground. The opposite of shadow AI isn't chaos, it's guided usage. And guidance requires visibility.
So the workshop offered something practical here, a way to balance safety and rules.
Yes, and this was really helpful. They gave the execs a straightforward decision framework. Not some huge policy document, but something quick. It combines that safety-encouraging openness with very clear boundaries. Basically, 3 questions every employee should ask themselves before using an AI tool for work.
Okay, what are they?
They're designed to be simple and hit the main risk areas. Question 1. What data am I using? Is it sensitive company data? Is it proprietary IP? Is it private customer information? If the answer is yes, that's an immediate flag. That needs a different level of scrutiny than, say, using public market data.
Makes sense. Data type matters. What's 2?
2. What decision is this AI informing? Is it something low stakes like brainstorming blog post ideas? Or is it high stakes like informing a compliance decision or generating legal advice or making a hiring recommendation? The risk tolerance changes completely depending on the impact of a potential mistake.
Okay, data and decision impact. And the 3rd?
3rd, who reviews the output before I act on it? This is critical. It forces a human checkpoint. It puts accountability on a person for the final action, ensuring that even if the AI produced something questionable, a human reviewed it and signed off. That alone is powerful, immediate governance.
Data, decision, review. Simple, but covers a lot.
And the cost of not creating this kind of safe environment to use such frameworks, it's steep. We saw data suggesting organizations that don't manage AI anxiety well, that stifle people trying to use these tools, could see 20% higher turnover among their knowledge workers. And think about who leaves that sake. It's often your most innovative, digitally savvy people, the ones naturally drawn to tools that make them more productive.
Wow. So you're not just failing at governance, you're actively pushing out your best talent. They'll just go somewhere that supports their initiative, right?
Exactly. They'll find companies that give them frameworks to innovate responsibly. So psychological safety isn't some soft HR thing here. It's hard strategy. It's about talent retention and innovation capacity.
You lose your edge if you govern by fear. You need those tech-savvy people helping you figure out the rules.
That's the bottom line.
Okay, so let's bring this home. For you listening, what are the immediate takeaways? Let's translate these 3 revelations into concrete actions you can take, maybe starting Monday morning.
All right, 3 things.
First, start with curiosity, not policy documents. You need to uncover that shadow AI, but gently. Go to your team, say something like, look, I know many of you are probably exploring these AI tools. I want to understand what's working, what's not, and how we can support you with clear, safe guidelines. Shift from policing to partnering.
Good first step. Second, double down on strategic literacy. Except you don't need to be the coder. Focus your energy on understanding the business impact, the risks, the opportunities. And if you don't have someone who can bridge the tech-to-business gap, find or develop that person, you need a translator.
Makes sense. And third,
lead the regulation you wish existed. Don't wait for external bodies.
implement that simple 3-question framework, data, decision, review internally. Like this week, that simple framework gives you immediate visibility and sets clear expectations. It's a starting point.
Absolutely. The executives in that workshop, they were mostly afraid of navigating without a map, waiting for someone else to draw it. But the big lesson, the synthesis, was that the map gets drawn by the people who start moving. Leadership in AI right now is about starting the conversation, setting those initial guardrails, and then learning and adjusting alongside your people.
So use these insights, the need for strategic focus, avoiding the prudence trap, and leveraging psychological safety. Use them to sharpen your own approach right away.
And maybe here's a final thought to chew on. Shadow AI isn't a future problem. It's happening right now, invisibly, in most organizations.
Yeah.
The real question isn't if you'll govern it, it's how. Will you do it proactively, bringing usage into the light, managing risk collaboratively now? Or will you do it reactively, scrambling after a data breach, a compliance failure, or losing key talent forces your hand? The choice is yours, but inaction is definitely a choice with consequences.
Take that knowledge, take that framework, and go start your own responsible leadership conversation. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
That was my Forbes Coach Council-like articles, the extra flavor on Fridays. This is Sahar, your AI whisperer. If this resonated, share it with another executive who is trying to figure out AI leadership. Show me some love. like this article or this episode, save it, share it, keep following the episodes, and let me know what you think. Sometimes just knowing you're not alone is the first step. New full episode is next Wednesday. See you then. You can email me at sahar@saharconsulting.com. You can find me on LinkedIn, Sahar Andrade, Andrade, or you can find me on Instagram, Sahar the Reinvent Coach. See you next week. Bye for now.
1,